Welcome to my podcast. Thanks for listening. And if you're listening on YouTube or any of the other platforms, thank you for joining. Now, the name of this episode is, of course, I'm talking about the transgender situation. Okay? And I'm talking about this because it seems that based off of my last couple of videos about the Shy, it seems that it's a lot going on with this transgender character in the show, IMANI, who's a transgender female and is dating a character in the show, Trig, who is a male. And he had an altercation in the bar, and he left, and he was saying that, hey, why you bring me to a gay bar? I'm not gay. And then the transgender woman, IMANI, was saying, well, I need to be around my people. I can't be cooped up in the house all the time with you because you're not comfortable being gay. He said, I'm not gay. When I see you, all I see is a woman. But at that point, IMANI didn't say, well, all I am is a woman. They didn't say that. They said, well, these are my people. I need to be with my people. He said, but I'm your people. And they said, no, you're my person, but these are my people. Okay? It seems it's a lot of confusion and a lot of things going on. And when people talk about it, what I've been noticing in the comments is that people that are supporting that community or from that community like to say things that don't apply, like homophobic or transphobic. That means that somebody is scared. That means that somebody is fearful. Nobody is afraid of IMANI or homophobic or transphobic. A lot of people are saying because that person was born a man, that it's always a man. And that, yeah, you can live your life as a woman. You can identify as a woman. But at the end, that's why you have to be transgender. You can't just say, I'm female now, because then that means you're exactly equal to a woman that was born a woman, and you're not. There's no amount of surgery going to implant ovaries in you. They want to try to say that they've done all of these things and the male-female body is not that far apart. It's not that far apart, but the differences are pronounced. They're profound. They're big differences. All of these transgender people, okay, if they stop taking hormone pills, their beards will grow. Their voice will go back and get deeper. Because you can have surgeries and do all of this stuff, but it doesn't change the DNA. And I don't understand, what is the problem? Why is it not enough that you are transgender? Why do you have to take the whole place of a woman? I think that's asking too much, and it's actually insulting to women. That's basically saying to a woman, all you are is whatever I decide not to be. I could be you if I want. All I got to do is chop off my pole, make a hole, take a couple pills, put on a wig. I'm the same as you. It's no difference. That's not true. That's not accurate. That is not being realistic. Nobody is being homophobic. Nobody's being transphobic. Nobody is, attacking anyone. Somebody is saying things in the comments that, is just amazing to me how people put words in other people's mouth. I will read the comments. Somebody will say something about the character. Then they'll say, well, why are you talking about Luke James? Nobody mentioned Luke James. Nobody said that. It just seems to be a lot going on. And then they say things that doesn't apply. Like, for example, they're trying to say, some people say, wow, everybody is all defending Barton Fitzpatrick because he decided not to play with that role, but it was okay when he decided to be a drug dealer, a murderer, and perpetuating stereotypes of the black community. That's acting. That's a role. How many times have you seen Arnold Schwarzenegger kill people? Or, Rambo blow up people and different things? Okay, yeah, that's a role. Certain roles may be perpetuating stereotypes, but at the same time, when you're having sex scenes, just like Omari Hardwick, he stopped doing sex scenes because his wife, and he didn't believe in it. Sometimes you can't act when you're kissing somebody. That's not an act. You're actually kissing them. Your lips are actually touching. Okay, you may act like you're in love with them. You're acting like you're in a relationship with them, but that is no act to actually kiss somebody, to actually grabbing their butt and actually laying with people and doing. That's not acting. The acting comes in when you act like you're in love. You act like you're in a relationship. You act like you actually may have stuck it in, but that's where the acting comes in. It's not an act to actually kiss another person. Ghost and Angie weren't acting when they were actually kissing. He wasn't acting when he was actually licking on them tatas, okay? He was actually licking on them and kissing them. Now, was he acting when he was acting like that was the love of his life? That's where the acting comes in, okay? So, it's not the same. And so people are applauding him for standing for something. It's too many people that are sellouts in this world for fame and money. And if people want to applaud somebody for standing on what they believe in, whatever it may be, just like people applaud people for standing up for their gay rights. Why is it a problem if somebody is applauding somebody for standing up against straight rights? Even though it doesn't exist, people don't want to act like that is a thing. But why is that such a problem? I don't get it. I don't see what is the issue with that. And what is the problem with being called transgender female? Or you say you identify as a female. Or, that's how you live your life. That's fine. There's no problem with that. To just say I'm a female is no difference. I am exact. That's not accurate. That's not an accurate representation of the situation. And that's, saying that a woman is really nothing but whatever a man decides to do. And people are trying to say, well, I was assigned this gender at birth. Doctors don't have a jar full of poles and holes, and when the baby is born, they assign them to you. We have to be honest, okay, with ourselves. People are born male or female, period. Now, if you want to say, well, I always felt I was a man or woman inside or this or that, that's the different. Nobody can prove that scientifically or disprove that scientifically. So if that's how you feel inside, that's different. But the outside, the DNA is indisputable. And I think that creates a problem within the LGBTQ community when they want to convince everyone else that they're wrong and that you're not actually born a man or a woman, that you are assigned a gender, or that, because I don't think you could have a certain amount of surgeries and become a man, or a certain amount of surgeries and become a woman. Now I'm transphobic or homophobic. That's not true. Or that I'm hating or I'm spreading hateful content or, this or that. That's not hateful content. What is the hate? Because somebody has a difference of opinion. I'm not being rude. I'm not being disrespectful. Nobody has said anything negative that they need to be this way or that way or this needs to happen or that needs to happen. All the person is saying is based off of science. That is not accurate. Okay, you don't have the same level of hormones. You don't have the ovaries. You don't have all kind of different things that causes someone to be male or female. They could just go down the list. And so I think it really hurts their community when people say and accuse them of being transphobic because they don't agree with that. Or people say that, you're homophobic or whatever. Because when somebody actually is doing that, it's like crying wolf. You're saying it so much when it doesn't apply, that when it does apply, people are going to look at it as that's what you always say. That's what you always do. And I don't think that's a good thing to do. And people try to say you're ignorant or it's pathetic if you don't agree with this. Or they think that they're trying to educate, or somebody in this community is scared. But where's the education at? What are they going to educate that you can have these surgeries and actually really become 100% woman? If you say you live as a woman, if you say you identify as a woman, if you say you live your life as all of that stuff, people understand. It's not a problem. People are not disputing that. You say you was born and feel this way inside your body. Nobody can say for, 100% that you are not correct or that you are correct. So that is what it is right now. But you can't say to somebody that they can just transform like that to be a complete man or a complete woman. These people still have to take hormone pills. These people needed these surgeries in order to do that. It's just not the same. And I don't understand why that's an issue. Why is that offensive? It's actually offensive to women. People in the trans community are offending women by doing that. You're basically telling them they're nothing but a bunch of body parts. And if I put these parts on me, I'm just like you, because you really ain't nothing but a collection of parts that I wasn't born with. And if I go to the doctor and get those parts, then me and you ain't no different. And I think that's not a good way of thought. I don't think that's accurate. And I don't think that's something that, that's not even a fight they should be trying to have. I don't think you're ever going to convince people about how people are born in the world. I just don't see what's the point of that anyway. And then also, if they I understand everybody wants equality. A lot of times they compare the struggle to black struggle, but that's a totally different conversation. But regardless of that, in the situation in The Chi, episode 2, that gay man offered to buy Trig a drink, and he said, no, I'm good. That man was extra pushy. Walked around to the bar, got in his face, talking about you looking. He said, looking for what? Looking for me. He said, no, I ain't like that. I'm not like you. Oh, and then he got offended. Oh, well, you think your presence is a present and this and that, and I'd have you bent over, grabbing your ankle, screaming my name. That was way too much. He was out of line. And he was a man, and when men are out of line, physicalities jump off. You can't have both ways. You can't say you a man, but then if something happened, oh, well, how would you do that? That was a hate crime. You did that because I'm gay. No, I did that because you a dude out of pocket, and any dude out of pocket would get addressed in this manner. That's how men operate. Just like in that same episode when Drea, who is Kevin's mom's wife, husband, relationship partner, she grabbed Ronnie up by his shirt and tried to yoke him up. If that was a man doing that to him, he could have got punched. It could have been a problem. She's acting like a man. She's living the role of a man in the relationship. She's coming at men like a man. But if they would have hit her or did something, oh, no, you hit a woman. You did this or that. I mean, it's just a lot of confusion. It's a lot of stuff going on. And you can't have both ways of it. You operate in one way, you should be treated one way. That's equality. That's how everybody else gets treated. You know, just like in that bar, and she's trying to rush to the gay guy's defense instead of her man. Instead of trying to figure out why is this dude pushing up on her man, she gonna go ahead and jump to his defense and make him apologize without even knowing the situation. Now, if that would have been a woman pushing up on her man like that, she wouldn't have did that. She'd have been like, bitch, why you all up in my man's face, such and such. But no, because it was a gay guy, apologize. What's your pronoun? That just shows that he's a man. Excuse me, sir. He was standing. That's just a little too much. And that means you got to what? Get to know people every time you talk to somebody. I mean, that's not what everybody else does in every other community. I don't need to get to know somebody to say, excuse me, miss, or ma'am, or, whatever. And so, one of the questions I asked on my last video is he gay? And some people have said, well, this is a stupid question. It's not a stupid question. He said in the show he's not gay, okay? But he's with a trans woman, who means that was a man, okay? If he really wanted to be with her, he could have been with just a regular woman. Why pick a trans woman? How did that, he has to know what the origins is. Now, some people say, well, he not gay no more because he attracted to women. All he sees is a woman. That's what he see. Okay? I might see a beautiful woman just like Shallow Hal. Okay? But in the reality, what is the situation? Okay? It doesn't matter what you see sometimes. The truth is the truth. I may not see the truth. What's that? What's the problem? But why is that? People do that all the time, every day. How many times have people been in relationships, women with some dude, and everybody saying he ain't nothing, but they don't see it? Or a dude with some woman, everybody saying she ain't worth it, or she a hoe, or whatever, and he don't see it. I mean, people are in relationships all the time, and they don't see who they with. I mean, I don't understand what the problem was with that. And, it's just, I don't know. People are trying to create an issue or a problem. And it's just, it's just unnecessary. This one person said, one of the comments, I feel when people put so much extra into something that apparently makes them super uncomfortable, they may actually enjoy the very thing they fear. When you make unnecessary videos like this, it just fuels more hate. I stand for all of my beautiful black people. By the way, please pray for all the 19 souls lost during Pride Month. Okay, first of all, it's nothing. If you're uncomfortable and making people uncomfortable, that's with them. Because I didn't say anything hurtful, rude, disrespectful in that video. Okay? Just like I was taught when I was young, if you are doing something that make you feel uncomfortable, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. If you're doing something and you can't look yourself in the mirror, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. But don't put that out on everybody else. That's why Barton didn't do the role. He didn't feel comfortable with it. He didn't just do it and then blame everybody else when they talk about it, when the real truth would have been he the one that had a problem with it on the inside. I didn't put anything extra or super uncomfortable or none of that. I think that's just deflecting. And when people from that community say and do things like that, instead of bringing people together, it actually drives people apart. Because then people that could have been an ally or support you now think every time somebody says something or does something they don't disagree with from that community, they want to make you out to be the bad guy or the problem. When the truth of the matter is everybody has their own opinions. And some people believe in science, okay, and DNA. And so some fights is understandable and some fights is no point. Now, they say please pray for the 19 souls lost during that month, whatever the case, that's fine. But at the same time, it's a lot of lost souls in every community. I mean, that happens. People are being killed all the time. So that's not the only community in trouble. That's not the only community being discriminated upon. It's not the only community that has issues. But I think one thing that will help that community get over some of those issues and to, move forward with other people support is to, when there is topics that people don't agree on, don't try to accuse them of something that they didn't say. Don't try to accuse them of hate speech and things like that when they didn't say anything hateful, when they didn't say anything, disrespectful. And a disagreement, that's part of America. It is a freedom of speech. People do have the right to agree and disagree. But don't make false accusations and don't, try to put words in people's mouth. And it seems that has happened time and time again in the comment section. I've tried to say things when I see it happen, but I don't know why that keeps being the case. But hopefully it'll stop. And if people want to comment and have dialogue and move on, then it can be a healthy dialogue and people can comment and move on and come to agree to disagree or, come to an agreement. I think it would be best if they just, said, hey, look, I identify as a woman. I live as a woman. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm a transgender individual, but that's who I see myself as. That's what I live as, whatever the case, blah, blah, blah. And I think people like Trig, who is Luke James' character. A lot of people, I said Trig in the video and in the comments and everything. But some people have even said in the comments, why are you saying this about Luke James and this and that? When that isn't the case either. But nevertheless, I think people in his situation would be better off just being honest. Hey, look, I like transgender. I like tranny. And that's how I get down. What? I mean, I can understand when you're younger and different things and people, maybe are not secure in saying whatever. But people at his age, the character's age or older, should just be real with themselves, be real with those around them and people, and cut out a lot of that confusion and things and bring people, to their side of understanding a lot easier when they cut all that out. I don't know. I'm interested to see y'all comments. I am live right now. If you all have downloaded my podcast, you are able to chat with me, and I do answer the chats. So go to my podcast, download it, and then I am going to be adding a number as well so that you'll be able to call in like a radio station, and we can call in and talk about different topics and subjects. So make sure you go ahead and download that podcast. Don't just listen to it on YouTube. Download the podcast. I'm going to be uploading that phone number soon, and people going to be able to call in, and we're going to be able to have real discussions and some real talk. And you know me, I love my real talk. I always keep it real. And that's one thing about people from Chicago. You got different people. You got street niggas. You got, real niggas. You got gangster niggas. You got all kind of people. Okay? But it's a difference. You could be one of all four. You could be just a couple. I'm from the streets. I've seen a lot of street stuff and go on this and that. I'm from the hood, whatever. But street people, they operate in the streets. They make their money in the streets. They don't really have a 9 to 5. They live their life that way. People from the hood, they've seen stuff happen. They've been around different things. And so street violence, street stuff, street life is nothing new to them. You got gangsters, they, involved in gang banging. They smart operators. They do all kind of stuff. They ain't afraid to shoot you, do whatever. And, you got real people who, they may not even be from the street. They may not even have lived that life, but they real. They keep it real. They believe in what they believe in, and they stand on it at all times. And, I'm from the hood, and I keep it real. No, I'm not a gangster, and no, I don't make my money in the streets. But I'm from that life, and my beliefs and everything, I keep it real all the time. I don't want to lie. I don't want to say and do things that I can't look myself in the mirror. Okay? I got a family. I got kids. I got to be able to, it's no amount of money that can make me do something that I wouldn't be comfortable with or ashamed of, or can't look these people in their face and say. Some people, that list of things they would or won't do is different. Okay, everybody's list is different. Some people may have some of the same things. Barton Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. Reg, he come off as a real nigga. It's some things that he believe in that is no amount of money that he wouldn't do. That's where a lot of the respect comes from. Because real recognize real, and people appreciate that. It's a lot of people out in this world that you don't know what they would do for money. They may do any damn thing. Some people that won't. It's very few people that won't nowadays. Everybody want to be famous. Everybody want money. So, I don't know. But that's the whole thing about Reg. Plus, it doesn't make sense with that character and selling drugs in the hood and all of this. People like to point to Omar and The Wire, but you have to be a ruthless, vicious killer in order to maintain power and respect in the hood if you were gay. Because that's not a political correct environment. That's not corporate America. Whether it's right or wrong, they're going to think because you're gay, you're weak, you soft, and you're an opportunity to come up, okay? I could rob you, I could kill you, this or that. And so in order to keep that fear, to keep people from trying to do that, to keep people off your ass, pun intended, you would have to be a ruthless killer. Reg wasn't a ruthless killer, but he was known to be a killer. Doing things like how he had his soldiers lined up and giving them mouth shots. That means punching them in the mouth one after the other in a row like he did in season 2. They not going to line up and be afraid to move if they think you a punk, if they think that they can take you. It's a lot of stuff that people do because of fear. And stuff like that, they would take away some of that fear. It would put a couple chinks in the armor. And that's just realistic. So I think they could have had Reg and Vic in the show. Trig in the show at the same time, actually, because he came from out of town with his Imani. That has nothing to do with Reg. So Reg could have still been operating. They could have brought him in, and then they could have, did whatever between them, and they could have both lived. But it is what it is. All right. I'm going to let this one roll. I'm looking forward to y'all comments. Don't forget to download the podcast. I want people to start chatting with me. I want people to start calling in. I'm going to make this a big radio show, and we're going to all be talking and having our input. So don't forget to download. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching it on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace, and I'm out.